everybody and welcome back to Dynamic GT League as we get ready for the GR3EVO Cup, race 1 from the Autopolis International Shortcut Circuit. Take a look at the qualifying order and it's Mandalorian who takes pole position, Mandalorian being former James Hulkenberg. In second place it's Demon R, and third it's DGT League SGP. Joining him on the second row is Steve F1. He's followed by Jason and Dave the Harp, and then we've got DGT League SRI and Fluffy Planet. Twilight is 9th with Groover 10th, and then we've got Bonsall and Rich Blues, and then Formula Gary at the back. A couple of drivers missing today in the form of Schumacher and Tyler. Hopefully they'll be able to join us in the rounds 2 and 3. Before we get on to the action in today's race, we've got a very special message from the DGT League admins. So joining me on commentary today is James, and James, you've just seen the reveal video for the next championship for the first time, and what are your thoughts about that beauty?
Oh, bloody hell! I tell you, I'm having a bit of a come down, literally. Yeah, that'll be a good season, because that car has insane grip and. Yeah, it handles a bit like a really quick, heavy go-kart.
Yeah.
It's one of them where you kind of think, oh, it's just a VW Golf, but the aero package it's got on it and the power it's got is just insane. Yeah,
it is an absolutely phenomenal car, and I'm not surprised that the admins have gone for that one for the championship after the GR3EVO Cup. I mean, they haven't confirmed a number of details, reference to tuning, tyres, qualifying format or anything like that, because they haven't made those decisions yet. But I don't think it'll really matter to a degree, because those cars are great cars to drive.
Yeah. I think you could pretty much copy and paste any format or tyre or anything onto that car. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it definitely is. What else is going to be good is the GR3EVO Cup, which gets underway in this race today. And a little bit of information for the viewers about the GR3EVO Cup. It is the Mitsubishi Group 3 Evo with no tuning allowed. And tyre wear that should allow the drivers a number of different strategies, but also pretty consistent lap times and longer stints than we've seen in the Red Bull Junior in the past and the previous formulas. Any thoughts or comments about the GR3EVO Cup that's coming up, James?
Yeah, well, definitely. I think it's very track specific as how you go driving. I know a lot of the drivers have been saying that around this track you don't want to be doing a lot of heavy braking and heavy accelerating, as it basically can decrease your tyre life by at least half if you proper push it too much.
Yeah, and you take that in consideration to compared to the next race, which is Monza. You can heavy brake everywhere. Pretty much. So it definitely is track specific. Anyway, the drivers are just about ready to form up on the grid, so let's get ready for the action. We've got Mandalorian 17. Is he a new driver, or is he just a former driver with a new name?
Yep, so that is the old James Hulkenberg, now Mandalorian.
So Mandalorian 17 on pole position then at the Autopolis International Shortcut Course, with Demon R in second place, SGP third, Steve F1 in fourth, and it's lights out and away they go, and it's a good start from Mandalorian. Demon R has a shocker of a start, and SGP coming under pressure from Steve F1.
Yeah, Steve F1 trying to make this a three-way sandwich down towards turn one. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Demon has just got the speed round the outside to keep in front of the pack.
That he has. Bunsell and Gary getting a little bit too close to each other, and that's resulted in Gary and SRI into the barriers on the first lap. That could be costly for them, as Dave the Harp is now trying to pressure Steve F1 and SGP looking up the inside of Demon R.
Yeah, they're heading now towards Vinnie Jones. You don't want to get too much on that curve, as you can end up going absolutely flying. And now we're heading on to what is pretty much the final back straight. It's not really a straight, it's more of a wiggly straight.
A corner. I know what you mean, though. It is a high-speed part of the track as we head into a very, very tight off-camber hairpin as Demon R is closing in on the back of Mandalorian now. SGP still there, so is Steve F1. Oh, tricky little chicane there as well on the exit of that hairpin.
Yeah, so as I head down towards turn one, it looks like Demon R's got a really, really good run on Mando. So let's have a look. Let's see if he's close enough to have a look. He's pulling out from the slipstream.
And he is having a look up the inside, but Hulkenberg closes it off. There's a nice bit of driving there. We saw in the background as well that Bunsell was trying to gain places. And just to remind everyone, we are still on for a 40-minute race here today. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure, depending on how people treat their tyres. Demon R all over the back of Mandalorian. Oh, he's all over nearly up his exhaust pipe.
Yeah, I wonder if at this point Mando's just thinking about looking after them tyres, but unfortunately he's got Demon R breathing down his neck.
That he has. I will mention as well, excuse me, although there has been a qualifying session for this race, from race 2 onwards, it will not be a grid order set by qualifying as Demon R is pressuring Mando, but here comes SGP having a look on Demon R, but can't quite get it to work. Yeah, so as I was saying, it won't be qualifying sessions from race 2 onwards, it will be a reverse championship grid. Oh, I think Demon R is going to be close enough to attack here, James.
Yeah, what's Mando going to do now as we're heading down towards turn 1? He's pushing Demon R close to the apex, and that's allowed SGP through as well.
It has. That was very sneaky from SGP there in the Honda-powered Mitsubishi Evo. Steve F1, he's all over the back of, he's all up the inside of Mandalorian there. Can't quite get the move done though, so Mando losing a couple of places, but it shouldn't be too costly at this stage of the race. I tell you what though, Jason, he's all over the back of Dave the Harp now, as Fluffy Planet behind him is trying to keep the gap, but actually he's just lost a bit of time. He got a little bit wiggly on that curb, James.
Yeah, Mando just needs to keep his head right now. He's lost the lead, but he can easily regain it. Next up the road is SGP. Can he try and re-attack and get P2 in the bag?
Well, here they go into the hairpin, and SGP's gone wide. Mandalorian, he's battling through the final chicane. It's a brilliant bit of driving, and he's got the slipstream off Demon R as well, so that could benefit him to retake second place. But now SGP will get the slipstream, but it's too late. And in the background we can see it's getting very, very busy, but SGP, I thought he was going to go for it then into turn 1.
Yeah, so heading through turn 1, it's a bit of an off camber corner, a little bit blind, and somebody's off in the background there, I think.
Yeah, somebody's had a big off there. Couldn't quite tell who it was, but turn 1, it's a very tricky corner, isn't it, James? You run a little bit wide, and if you're too much on the power, you end up just facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, indeed. And talking of wrong direction, we've got SRI. I think he's heading in the opposite direction of emergencies right now. I think there's probably a few people with broken arms and legs, but he's just driving away. He's in P8, he's got Fluffy right in front of him, he's got Gary behind him and Bunsell. So this is pretty much danger zone right now for SRI.
Yeah, Fluffy defending the inside of the hairpin. He'll have the racing line there. I'll tell you what, Formula Gary's had a nice run through that corner. And you know what, it's brilliant to see all four of those cars slotting into a single file actually through the corner. But now they're going to go 3 wide, are they? Bunsell could make this 4 wide. 4 wide won't really work down into turn 1, but they are 3 wide. Dave the Harp gets through. Jason gets through. SRI runs a little bit wide. Oh, and Dave the Harp's gone.
They've spun on the outside, and there you go. That's as well. Mandalorian's trying it on Demon Art. He's trying to come back for the race lead.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple of laps ago that he doesn't need to panic. He may still be able to get back up there, and he's done exactly that through the hairpin and SGP. Oh, they said Hulkenberg then. Mandalorian getting very, very wiggly out of the Vinnie Jones corner. But yeah, this is fantastic stuff, James. Ever so close up at the front.
Yeah, he just needs to keep his head though, not try and push too hard, because it's all well and good getting in front, but then if he tires and knackered, there's absolutely no point. So here we go through Kylie Minogue, and he's known that just because everybody ends up spinning round at that point. And here we go down towards turn 1. Do you think he's close enough for a run?
I'm not so sure. What, we're nearly 6 minutes into the race now. I don't know, he's going for it. He's having a look up the inside. Demon R doesn't defend, but he squeezes onto the apex of the corner. Oh, Mandalorian out of shape, and Demon R spun around, and SGP's tagged the back of Mandalorian. It's disaster up at the front.
So yeah, the 2 front runners are now down in P4, and I think Mandalorian's right near the back, I think, so that's really gone completely tits up for them. But here we go, we've got Jason on Steve F1. Steve F1, is he going to be... I think this is a tricky situation right now. We're at about lap 6. Some drivers are wanting to push because they're going to go for short stints. Some drivers are wanting to look after the tyres because they're going for long stints. So, Hey, we got Mando, he's trying it on the emergency services back at the tail end of the field. He's trying it round the outside of Twilight into Kylie Minogue.
He might actually get that done. That's a beautiful move. That is, an SRI is trying to capitalise as well as Mandalorian's actually going for the pit lane, so it's an early stop for him. Up at the front though, SGP benefits from that disaster for Demon R and Mandalorian. Steve F1 coming under a lot of pressure from Jason, and interestingly, I don't think that Jason has been in any of the practice sessions with the likes of Steve F1 and SGP, so they do not know what his pace is like and how good he'll be on his tyres.
Well, if it's anything like the opening 7 laps, it's pretty good. Here we go. Yep. We've got Bunsell in front of SRI, but SRI's trying it around the outside, which will now become the inside for Vinnie Jones. And yeah, as long as you don't touch that curb and get too happy on the throttle, it's all good, and he's made it through, and here comes Twilight now. Yeah, it was a lovely move by SRI there. It may be that Bunsell's tyres are being hurt a little bit too much, or have been hurt a little bit too much in the early stages. He's trying to attack back though, but he's also got to defend from Twilight. But Jason, he really is piling on. The pressure here on Steve F1, but I tell you what, Demon R has managed to catch up to the back of the leading trio. Yeah, so this is going to be a 4-way battle now for the lead, and they're pulling away from Formula Gary in 5th place. So here we go, heading down towards turn 1. And as we said earlier, it's such a difficult corner. I'm not surprised there were contact earlier between Mando and Demon R. It's just such a difficult corner to go through there on your own. It is. Steve F1 had a good run out of turn 1 and got really close to the back of SGP, but nowhere to go into the medium speed right hand king. Now into the tight double left that leads into the Vinnie Jones, a very, very tight hairpin where, to be fair, James, every driver has to cover the inside, because if you don't, you're going to find a car next to you. Yeah, indeed. It's one of them where it can all get quite aggressive and people getting their elbows out, and yeah, there's no points for leaving the door wide open. No, you're absolutely right. All Jason having a look at the back of Steve F1. Oh, he's going for it. Steve F1's gone a little bit wide. That'll give Jason the position. Well, not, I wouldn't say give. Jason's earned the position. But he's going for the pits. Well, I'll tell you something, he rubbed the inside of Kylie Minogue and yeah, straight into the pit there. And that's just allowed Demon R through. I think Steve F1 were left a little bit perplexed there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you see a car do an overtake in that situation and then dive into the pit lane as Twilight, Dave the Heart, Mandalorian, 3 wide into turn 1. Twilight decides, you know what, I'm going to go clever here and safe, and you know what, it's benefited. Oh no, he's got wiggly. Dave the Heart's gone off though. But yes, okay, so Mandalorian takes the corner, manages the overtake quite nicely. Twilight just about gets away with it and gains a place. Groover though coming under pressure. I tell you what, I'm surprised by a couple of these early pit stops, you know, James, because I had been hearing that a few of the drivers have been able to do 15 to 20 minutes on the super soft tyre, or Groover coming under a lot of pressure from Mandalorian.
Yeah, so here we go. Is he going to go for the switchback? I think he is. Door banging there with Groover as we're heading now towards Kylie Minogue, which is a very, very difficult corner. Is he going to try and take it round the outside?
Well, Groover is kind of covering the inside, but Mandalorian, slightly fresher tyres, makes the most of them, and that's through up to 5th place now. So still on a recovery as Demon R is going for the lead of the race. Is he? No, he's not. He's just trying to get SGP out of position through turn 1. Make sure you don't run wide there, because as we've said, if you do, you end up massively off.
As well, the outside curb there on the exit of turn 1, if you light up your throttle a bit too much, you could end up spinning without even going on the grass.
Yeah, definitely. All Demon R really pressuring SGP, and SGP covers the inside. Steve F1 can take a wider entry into the corner to try and get a faster exit, and it may benefit him there. Just to let everybody know as well, with the tyre compounds, there is only 2 tyre compounds available in this championship, and that is the super soft tyre and the soft tyre, as Demon R really pressuring SGP. SGP covers the inside, goes defensive. Is Steve F1 going to chuck it up the inside of Demon R? No, he's realised it's not really on. Was SGP parking on the apex a little bit there, James, and gets Demon R a bit out of shape?
Yeah, so let's just see. Oh, Demon R into the pit lane.
Maybe he's on for his usual 10-minute stint. Steve F1 has followed him into the pits as well. Dave the Harp coming down the main straight in 6th position with Jason right up behind him. Those two now gain 2 places with Steve F1 and Demon R in the pits.
Yeah, so Mandalorian pitted around the 6-minute mark.
Groover, big spin. That's what I was on about at turn 1. If you go a little bit deeper, you're going to end up facing the wrong way. But that's put Dave the Harp up to 3rd now, James.
Yeah, but he's having to defend for his life against Jason, trying to take it round the outside. Is that going to get my tongue in? He's going to get the move. I don't know, but Dave the Harp now defending into Vinnie Jones. But Jason really, he's pressuring like mad, and he's through.
He is, and in the background, Fluffy Planet making a move on SRI as well. Brilliant stuff from him. Dave the Harp, let's see how he's going to get on with his tyres. I don't think he's pitted yet, so he's doing okay on his tyres, unless he has pitted and I've not seen it. Demon R up the inside of Twilight after making his pit stop. Where is Steve F1? He's nowhere near the back of Demon R at the moment, so maybe he's been caught up in traffic. Yeah,
unfortunately, I think that's the case. If you're going to pit with somebody else, you need to try and use them as a buffer. And there you can see Steve F1 still down in 11th place, which has now become, well, I thought he was going to become 10th, but he's still 11th.
It is, and to be fair, the drivers he's got ahead of him have been doing very, very well. As Formula Gary having a look up the inside of Bonsall, and Steve F1 trying to follow him through. We're looking at Demon R, but that's because, I think we need to rename him Borat, you know. Formula Gary making a move on Twilight. Can he get it done through the fast kink? Yes, he can. Formula Gary showing some good abilities here, you know, James.
Yeah, so right now, strategy-wise, I think Demon R's trying to get through the pack, but unfortunately he's losing a lot of time now compared to Mandalorian, who pitted around the 6-minute mark. However, Demon R, once he gets through this pack, he's going to have way fresher tyres, and here comes Formula Gary. Yeah, Formula Gary
Formula Gary pressuring Demon R. It's not something that you'd usually hear, but Demon R is making the move past Fluffy Planet as Dave the Harp is still trying to fend off SRI, and we know that they have had plenty of battles in the past. Side by side they go, and look how close this is making the pack. This is absolutely frantic. Dave the Harp is now going for the pit lane, and yeah, what a race we've had so far. Can SRI hold off Demon R? Fluffy Planet has managed to get ahead of Formula Gary. Bonsall having a look up the inside of Formula Gary, but I don't think he'll get that move done.
Yeah, well, it'll be tough, but it looks like Steve F1's managed to dictate the pair of them there through turn 1. I think there were two focused on each other, where Bunsell and Gary, and Steve F1 just stuck on the racing line and went round the outside.
Yeah, lovely move from Steve F1. So here we go then, Demon Art all over the back of the paramedic SRI. He's not actually a paramedic.
I think Fluffy Planet almost rear-ended Demon Art there. He had a haul on there, just slamming on the brakes, and that's allowed the rest of the pack to jump all over his rear end. But Demon R's made a bit of a breakthrough. Can he try and get past SRI?
He's trying to, going to go round the outside, is he? SRI covering the inside, but I think SRI's gone a little bit deep, and he's lost the rear end, so has Formula Gary, and that's why you call that corner the Kylie Minogue, because you can easily spin it around. SGP is into the pits. SRI just about got away with that.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Steve F1, he's ended up going backwards there in that collision in the background, and now he's back behind Bunsell and Fluffy.
Yeah, so he's going to have to make moves once again, but Bunsell, he's lost it into turn 1. It's such a tricky corner. Steve F1 though all over the back of Fluffy Planet, having a look into the kink. Can he do it? He's sticking his nose in, gives Fluffy Planet a little bit of a nudge, but lets him get away with it. And SGP, he's got not as much of the pack to come through, but he's just made a move past Rich Blues, and now he's got Twilight ahead of him. Twilight runs a little bit wide. That's going to allow SGP through, and Rich Blues. That's a lovely move from Rich.
Yeah, so SGP's only just pitted a lap or two ago. He was in the lead, so he's got the freshest tyres of everybody right now, so he's going to be the quickest man on circuit, but that's put Formula Gary under pressure in towards Kylie.
That it has, with Fluffy Planet, and who was that? He was side by side with Steve F1. Yeah, Twilight heading into the pit lane. This is getting, as ever in DGT, it's frantic. SGP making the move on Formula Gary, but I've got a feeling Formula Gary is going to be fighting this one back. Steve F1 makes the move on Fluffy Planet. SGP trying to sneak through there as well. I think everybody got through the corner. Beautiful.
Yeah, a little bit of contact, but yeah, very beautiful there. I'm surprised. Here we go, we've got, who is that? That's Rich Blues.
Yeah, he was having a look at Formula Gary. Couldn't quite get it done. He's ran wide, he's off into the barrier. I think he needs a snacker jack.
Yeah, so here we go through Vinnie Jones, who's going to end up coming out on top. It looks like Fluffy's really struggling now. And here comes SGP. Is he going to try it up the inside, or has that door just been shut?
I think that door's been closed. Formula Gary's just ran a little bit wide. Dave the Arm giving him a bit of space. Now going for a switch back on him. Costly for Formula Gary. SGP having a look at the inside, but Fluffy closes the door late on. I don't know if there was contact there, but that was a little bit late to close the door, unfortunately.
Yeah, he ended up out in the rough of Kylie there.
No comment. At some point you'll ask me why Demon R should be called Borat.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, I'll point it out in a bit. Dave the Arm making a move on Formula Gary then, and Groover in there as well. I've got to say, there's a lot of fantastic looking liveries on these cars out there today. We have got a couple of drivers missing. Tyler unavailable to race this week, and I think next week as well. But Jason, usually we would see him in yellow and blue. Today he's in white and green, and he's also in second place, and he's closing the gap on Mandalorian. Demon R's in third place. Rich Blues, he though is in 10th place, with Twilight not too far behind him, but Twilight has only just pitted along with Fluffy Planet and I think Bunsell.
So yeah, Mando out in front. He's been on his tyres for 12 minutes. We're expecting him to just go another few laps and then he'll be in the pit lane, but I think if he starts losing out to Jason, then it's worth just jumping into the pits. But here we go. We've got SGP on the back of SRI, the two race admins going at it wheel to wheel. Here we go.
Yeah, SRI finding himself in a Steven sandwich there, and he's got a little bit of a nudge from behind. That may benefit him. He could make the move here. Dave Hart's trying to capitalise on SGP making a little bit of an error, but not quite able to get through. SRI still trying to manage to get past Steve F1, but can't quite do it at the moment.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here that's playing out right now is Steve F1 pitted at the same time as Demon R. Now he's 7 seconds behind as SGP's trying it round the outside of Vinnie Jones, but SRI gets his foot on the loud pedal and almost kicks SGP in the face, and I think SGP's giving him a kiss back.
That he did. That'll have hurt SRI's tyres in that particular corner, as Formula Gary is now pressuring Dave the Harp in the background as well. SRI going side by side with SGP, but Mandalorian and Jason both into the pits, so Demon R takes the lead of the race. Jason was on the soft compound tyre. SGP has managed to get ahead of SRI, but look at the gap that Steve F1 has now opened up on them. This is absolutely bonkers. I've got to say though, James, so far so good. Some fantastic racing from these guys.
Yeah, indeed. So here we go down towards turn 1. Is Groove going to have a look, or is he going to go straight off? No, he's braked early. That's nice to see. He's managed to keep it on the racetrack, and yeah. So right now in this pack, the guy with the best tyres is still SGP, and he's in 3rd place. So watch out for him attacking Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he pitted considerably later than Demon R and Steve F1, so I'm thinking Steve F1 may have an additional pit stop to do over the course of the race. As SGP, he's going for the tighter line around the long left-hander, and that's a beautiful move, but Steve F1 is going to have the inside for the Kylie Minogue, and he's going to be able to defend it, but with SGP's fresher tyres, I think he'll be able to get a much better exit out of the corner.
Yeah, Steve F1 just holding on to it, and here we go. Heading on to the start finish straight. Looks like SGP's got a lovely exit there as SRI's he's going in the pit lane.
He is going for the pit lane, so that moves Dave the Harp up, but SGP is all over the back of Steve F1, and we can see in the background there's plenty going on there as well. SGP makes the move into turn 1. It looks like Mandalorian in the background going for an overtake as well, but that's a lovely overtake by SGP on Steve F1. Mandalorian did manage to get ahead of Formula Gary as well, so he's not wasting time. He's now behind his good old friend Dave the Harp, and in the background we see Jason making a move on Fluffy Planet. Can he get it done through the kink? He can. Fluffy Planet's ran wide.
Yeah, I'll tell you, who's also run wide. Dave the Harp is running so wide. Mando's just come straight through there, and the next target for him is Steve F1.
That it is, and Steve F1 is on much older tyres than Mandalorian at the moment. Groover though, not doing too bad, sitting in 7th place behind Formula Gary, but he's got Jason all over the back of him with fresh tyres, and Jason's going to want to make moves as early as possible, and here he goes side by side with Sylvester the Cat and Peppa Pig. Never thought I'd say that in commentary.
Yeah, and I never thought they'd be going up the inside of Kylie there. But here we go, we've got Bunsel. He's in that Milker Monster, just trying to go side by side with Fluffy.
Yeah, a number of drivers jumping into the pit lane there. Steve F1 being one of them. Fluffy Planet having a look at Bunsel, but that's going to be, yeah, they'd have been too late to go for that move, but Bunsel's run wide. Yeah,
you never want to go too deep in turn 1, and there you can see he's lost 2 places as Twilight and Fluffy have just re-overtook.
Exactly. Lovely driving from Fluffy and Twilight there, and it shows the importance of getting the car slowed down and making the apex, regardless of what speed you do. But anyway, what's the situation at the moment? We are 22 minutes into the race. Demon R leading the way, SGP in 2nd place, Mandalorian 3rd, Jason 4th, and then we've got this battle, Fluffy, Twilight and Bunsel, and then SRI, who was battling with Dave the Harp, but Demon R is still leading the way though, ahead of SGP and Mandalorian. Jason though is a very interesting one this. Jason usually gets up near the front towards the end of the races, but Mandalorian, having had pole position here today, is now pressuring SGP, and Jason not far behind him at all.
Yeah, indeed. So this could be quite exciting as we head into the final, final
18.
third of the race. Yeah,
last 18 minutes.
Yeah, so here we go. We've got Mandalorian on the back now of SGP. Is he going to get defensive, or is he going to try and look after them tyres?
Oh, Mandalorian having a look up the inside, but it's not going to work for him. SGP closes the door. It's not easy to overtake into the first couple of corners here. It's all about the hairpin coming up, and SGP is having none of it. He does not want to be overtaken up the inside there. But it's, like I said earlier, James, it's one of those corners where you have to cover that inside, because if you don't, a car will appear.
Yeah, indeed. So if Mando doesn't get his foot down and get past here, he's going to be caught by Jason, looks like.
Yeah, that is true. Jason's tyres, similar age to Mandalorian's, I think, at the moment. Mandalorian having a look up the inside. SGP's ran wide, though. He's gone late on the brakes, and that's going to be costly for him on the run down towards turn 1. As these two fight, it is letting Jason close the gap more and more. And Mandalorian, there is no gap between the front of his car and the back of SGP's car.
Yeah, so here we go, down towards turn 1. Is he going to get this sensible on the brakes? Looks like it. Yeah, I think he's in front, so he just needs to leave a car's width, and that's what he's done.
Oh, Jason nearly losing it on the dip of the wheel on the grass there, but Mandalorian, lovely overtake. Steve F1 now trying to make a move on Bunsell, and SRI ahead of him, trying to attack Twilight as well. Oh, and he is attacking Twilight.
Yeah, I've just got to say how much of a different... oh, here we go, Steve F1 having a look up the inside of SRI, but I was just going to say how much of a different race it's been for Steve F1 compared to Demon R. I think about 10 minutes ago, they were side by side coming out of the pit lane, and now Demon R's leading the race, and Steve F1 is caught in this pack.
Yeah, that he is. And I'll tell you what, Formula Gary is trying to come through that pack as well. Ahead of Formula Gary is Bunsell and David Harp. Steve F1 having a look up the inside of SRI. He's got the fresher tyres, but SRI, he's saying, no, I've got my sirens on.
Demon R race leader in the pit lane, along with SGP.
Okay, where will they feed out? I've got a feeling they might feed out close to this pack of cars, Jameson. Yes, they are.
There he is. He's coming out, and here we go. Who's going to get past? It looks like Steve F1 and SRI. I think Formula Gary's a bit too far back. Yeah, Demon R just comes out just in front of Formula Gary. Yeah,
Formula Gary was able to make the move on Dave the Harp there. I mean, okay, James, you were mentioning 1 lap ago, the gap between Steve F1 and Demon R. What's the gap between Steve F1 and Demon R now?
No, it's not a lot, but Steve F1's on way older tyres right now, and that's what I'm meaning. The strategies we've been caught in the pack have just completely flipped on the red as SRI's getting a bit of a love kiss, and that's just allowed Demon R through. He's not going to, he just left the door wide open. Steve F1 caught napping there, and Demon R's through.
And that's why he's called Borat. He's got a mankini on the top of his car.
Oh, yeah. It looks good, though.
It does, yeah. No,
very nice.
I can't say I would ever wear a mankini, but Demon R is sporting one here today.
Indeed. But yeah, it's all very, very close again in this midfield pack. It's just too close to call, really. I think we've got about 5 battles going on down towards turn 1 as Demon R's trying to get past SRI.
Oh, SRI goes deep, and in the background, Formula Gary trying to make another move on Dave the Harp and manages to get through. So Dave the Harp must have got back ahead of Formula Gary previously. SRI has somehow survived turn 1, but Jason up at the front is applying pressure to Mandalorian.
Yeah, it looks like Mando's tyres are just starting to go over the cliff. Now he's out in the lead. He doesn't seem as focused as he was earlier in the race. He seems a bit, a bit lost out there in the lead.
Oh, Demon R trying to apply some pressure to Fluffy Planet and make the move. He's going to around the outside of the long left-hander. Not easy to do, but he manages to make it, and that is also going to allow Steve F1 through, because Fluffy Planet is now out of position, and SRI is all over the back of him as well. But Fluffy goes defensive. Formula Gary is in there too. Oh, this is bonkers. 2x2 around Kylie.
Yeah, Kylie's taking all comers today.
That she is. She's good for it though. 3 wide down into turn 3 wide twice actually down into turn 1. Formula Gary up the inside of Fluffy Planet. Oh, Groover!
What's Groover doing?
I think
he lost his marbles.
I think he was. His marbles were punted out of his window. He may have got a tag from the back there, and he looks like he may have been slowing down to let a couple of cars through as well, with bumping doors with Dave the Harp. Jason still battling with Mandalorian, has not managed to get past him yet, which I'm quite surprised at given the tyre life for these guys. But if Jason is still sporting the soft tyre, that could be why.
Yeah, and what's crucial here is Jason looks to have better tyres, but Demon R's about 7 seconds behind these two, and I think Mandalorian's probably losing about 2 seconds per lap. Oh, Jason having a little look up the inside, but that door's shut right now. I think Mandalorian needs to get in the pit lane.
You could be absolutely right there. You know what? I thought Jason was going. Mandalorian is going for the pit lane. So Jason leads the race for the first time today, I think. Fluffy Planet side by side with Dave the Harp. It looks like Fluffy Planet's going for the pit lane. Yes, he is. Formula Gary and Dave the Harp battling once again. Dave would not be used to this. I mean, Formula Gary is showing a very different driver here today.
Yeah, indeed. And I think unlike Demon R, when he came out in the middle of the pack, I think formerly James Hulkenberg, Mandalorian's going to be coming out right behind this pack, so he might just be able to get his first lap with no cars in his way, but then he's going to be really at the back of this pack. But I think a lot of these drivers, the tyres are really going over the edge right now, so hopefully they'll need to pit as well.
Yeah, you could be right there. And also again, like David Harper's coming under pressure from Formula Gary and Bunsell. SGP though sitting in 4th place, a bit of a gap to Steve F1, but it's not a massive gap. And there is Mandalorian sitting in 9th place, and yet we can see the cars ahead of him. Bunsell, Formula Gary, Bunsell and Formula Gary bumping doors, and that will it allow David Harper to get away or Mandalorian to get through? Neither. They're going side by side. I think Formula Gary's lost it. David Harper's going for the pits. Bunsell continues on. This is absolutely mental.
Yeah, so for Mandalorian, that couldn't come better time with all them drivers pitting. He's just got to get past Bunsell as he's trying to dispose of him down in towards turn 1. That's an easy, nice, sensible break in there from Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's a lovely move, but I can't believe you used the C word. Can't. I can't believe he did that. Anyway, listen back to it, James. You'll see what I'm on about.
I know, it's the Yorkshire swag. Can't. North is gone.
Yeah.
But here we go. Can SGP get his way through past Steve F1? We're about to find out.
No, he couldn't.
I think he can.
I think he can as well. I think Steve F1's tyres are struggling, and SGP chucking it over the inside. Steve F1 gives him a little bit of room. To be fair, that was a bit of a late move, so Steve F1 could have squoze him, but not going to happen. Is SGP going for the pitch? No, he's dummying going for the pitch.
Yeah, I'm surprised Steve F1 didn't just turn in there. He must have eyes in the back of his ass.
Yeah, definitely. Or SGP's got a good run on him here, but Steve F1 covering the inside of the corner. Or SGP, he's going to push it around the outside. You know what, if you can make that stick, that's a lovely move. That is a situation that takes 2 to tango, and both these guys can dance.
Indeed. So here we go, race order right now. Demonar leads the race, about 5 seconds in front of these two. So SGP there, you can see P2, Steve F1 P3, and closing in on these guys is Mandalorian in P4. Jason's got really good tyres as well, but he's got to get past Bunsell yet.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, James, I'm thinking from the strategy that Demonar does not have to pit again. SGP does not have to pit again. Steve F1 may do, because he has been pitting earlier than SGP and Demonar. Mandalorian doesn't need to pit again, and Jason doesn't need to pit again. The rest of them, to be fair, it's been so frantic, I've not been able to keep up with who's pitted when and when. But Formula Gary must have pitted recently because he's sitting down in 13th. So we can visibly see the gap there, and it looks like Bunsell going for the pit lane in the background, maybe. Yes, he is.
Yeah, so that's allowed Jason a bit of free air, and behind him, I think we've got Twilight, I believe. Yeah, Twilight and Groover. And hopefully Groover will get his braking right. Oh, SRI nearly absolutely caned him in towards turn 1 there.
I'm wondering if SRI is driving around giving it Nino, give me attendance.
Yeah, well, or maybe he's just a bit drunk already. But anyway,
he'd never do that. Oh, he has just nudged SRI off the track though. Nino.
I swear, I didn't know that was going to happen at that point. Yeah, here we go. I think Mandalorian's closing in on Steve F1. Steve F1's just been beaten around the outside by SGP. But yeah, that gap's really come down now.
Yeah, I think Steve F1's tyres are on the way out, because SGP is going away from him as my other alarm goes off. Mandalorian all over the back of Steve F1. I think this will be an easy move, to be fair, James, with the difference in tyre life.
Yeah, I think he's learned from his earlier mistake when he tried it on Demonar from a bit too far back. But this is going to be a late move again.
It is. Steve F1 giving him the space that I think Steve realises he hasn't quite got the tyres in him to fend it off as physically as he would like. Dave the Harp though on fresher tyres, making a move on Groover. Nice move. Groover managed to make the corner, but to be fair, Dave the Harp with a nice overtake there.
Yeah, indeed. So next up the road is Twilight. Yeah, Twilight's really improved. We've said that pretty much for the past 2 seasons, and right now he finds himself in 6th place, but I don't think he's got great tyres.
No, I think you could be absolutely spot on there. SRI has managed to close back up to Groover, and he's bringing Rich Blues along with him, but back up at the front, SGP now coming under pressure from Mandalorian. So this is just showing that Mandalorian, not only has he got a bit of pace about him, he's got much better tyres.
Yeah, so here we go down towards turn 1. I think it's going to be a carbon copy of the previous lap. Steve F1 is into the pit lane.
Yeah, interesting for Steve F1 pitting there, but Mandalorian all over the back of SGP, and he has a look up the inside. I think, yeah, it's going to be an easy move, this one, with the fresher tyres. SGP trying to duck back underneath, but couldn't quite get it slowed down enough to duck underneath quickly. The Steve F1 though, having made the pit stop, he's going to come out right near the back, so I'm curious about that one. He was in 4th place. I mean, is he perhaps thinking his tyres are going to just hurt so much that he's going to get caught up by these guys?
Yeah, probably, and the last thing you want is Formula Gary and SRI turning up smacking off the road. But I've got to say, I think probably just the ease of which SGP and Mandalorian came past him. I think Steve F1 just thought, I don't want this happening on the final lap, and ended up at the back, so I might as well spend the last 5 minutes of this race trying to come through the field. But unfortunately, he's not had the greatest luck coming through the field.
No, that is true, and this is absolutely mental here. Formula Gary with SRI alongside him as they're rubbing doors. Fluffy Planet is on the back of them as well. SRI gets over the curb. I don't know if there was contact there, but off he goes and into the barrier. I said they were bumping doors as Dave the Harp, he pits as well, and there is Steve F1. So he's literally come round the corner, seen one car sideways in the road and another 5 ahead of him that are still going side by side. That's Formula Gary and Fluffy Planet. I think Gary went a little bit deep there and collected Fluffy.
I think that's two corners in succession. Gary unfortunately just did not have a clue of how to get the car slowed down, or either knowing who is around him, because I think at the final corner, Steve F1 making a nice move there on Rich Blues up the inside through Vinnie Jones. But yeah, the final corner there, Formula Gary just did not give enough space to SRI, punted him out, and then down at turn 1 just did not give enough space on the outside and punted somebody else off. So I think Formula Gary is, I think he's going to be looking for answers at the end of this race.
Yeah, you have to look in the mirror to get them. Okay, Steve F1, he'll have loved that. Come round the final corner, 1 car sideways. Come round turn 1, 2 more cars sideways. Now he's only got 2 cars to overtake, and he'll be back in the position he was in before he pitted. And here he goes on the back of Bunsell. He's in the slipstream of Groover, I think. No, Bunsel's in the slipstream. So Steve F1 with his fresher tyres is going to have to do it under braking into turn 1, and he has done.
Bunsell, his Achilles heel this race has been turn 1, and he just keeps losing out there.
Yeah, that he does. In the background is Rich Blues. Rich Blues is in the background of Steve F1, as Steve F1 is pressuring Groover. So Rich Blues in 7th place at the moment. He's having an absolute stormer. Groover, though, coming under a lot of pressure here. Oh, he's not going to hold on to that position. Steve F1 gives him a little bit of a nudge. So bumping doors they go. Groover giving him a little nudge back.
Can he try it around the outside? That'll be amazing if he can.
No.
Groover shuts the door there as he's slightly in front, and I think Twilight's coming through. It's Rich Blues.
It's Bunsell overtaking Rich Blues, and side by side, Steve F1, lovely move.
Yeah, Groover just went deep in Carly Middle.
And it wasn't much fun. Okay, he's coming back though at Steve F1 side by side, and then 3 wide. Could you get 3 wide any closer to the edge of the track there?
Yeah, I think this. Once again, Formula Gary pumping somebody off down at turn 1. That's not good. Oh no, he kept on the track.
I don't know.
Groover must have super sticky tyres on.
Yeah, and Dave the Harp, he's now in the middle of this fight as well. I mean, I can understand that one. You're 3 wide, you're the middle car. It's not easy to get slowed down, and it's very easy to brake a touch too late and tag a car that's actually in front of you that you're not looking at.
Oh, look at this, Dave the Harp trying it round the outside, but unfortunately Formula Gary's got up the inside, but now that's going to become the inside for the next corner. So yeah, Dave the Harp, I think he's caught between a rock and an hard place here. Can't really use the potential of the tyres, and luckily I think Rich Blue just lost the rear end. So Steve F1 now up to 5th. He's got sucked off at Kylie.
Oh, look at this. The pack comes back through. Groover retakes the place, and Dave the Harp is all over the back of Groover. Steve F1 is a bit of a sitting duck here as Formula Gary is in his slipstream. Going to go 3 wide again. Dave the Harp looking to the inside of Groover towards turn 1. Formula Gary looking to the inside of Steve F1. They're 4 wide, you mad men.
Groover there turning in on Dave the Harp, and he paid the price there. I think turned in, didn't realise that Dave the Harp were there, and out on the nasty stuff on the outside of turn 1. But Steve F1 now on Gary, and them pressure tyres have pretty much gone up in smoke. But that's a lovely move there from Steve F1. Oh, another punt there from Formula Gary.
I think his tyres have gone, and looking at the clock, I think the leading 4 or 5 cars, they're going to get another lap in here, but I think from about 6th down, maybe 7th down, this will be their final lap. Jason, though, he's now all over the back of SGP on what will be the last lap of the race for them, but the pack, they're coming around the final corner now, and it's only 5 seconds. Oh, it's going to be close. Mandalorian loses out a little bit. SGP coming under pressure, and Fluffy Planet. So 7th down, their race is over.
Yeah, so the battle behind this is Dave the Harp and Steve F1, but right now Jason's trying to get on the podium and just give SGP a love kiss from behind. That could have easily gone completely off the rails, and here we go. Oh, that's a bit late there. I think Jason's losing his temper right now, but unfortunately that's the wrong thing to do on the final lap, and I think he's just backed off because he's realised he's cocked that one up.
That's what we want to see. Drivers backing out when they make a mistake. He's running wide there, though. You don't want to be on the grass or the curb there. Oh, he's into the wall as well. Oh, I think that's going to be unfortunate for him. But Demon R, or Borat as he will now be known, takes the first victory of the championship.
Very nice.
Yeah. Mandalorian done very well to recover to take 2nd place. SGP just about managed to fend off Jason. So SGP 3rd, Jason 4th, and Dave the Harp and Steve F1. Could they be any closer as they head up towards the finish line? Steve F1 giving it all the beans, but he should have had peas. It's Dave the Harp, then Steve F1.
Yeah, what a cracking race there. I think there were pretty much something for everyone.
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, I know there was differences of opinions as to what it'll be like racing with cars that have got no tuning on them or no setups on them, so to speak, the default setups, and how the tyres were going to last. And to be fair, it was a very exciting race. A few incidents, but you're always going to get incidents in racing. But to be fair, plenty of wheel-to-wheel action and absolutely brilliant stuff to watch.
So true to form there, Demon Art won the race. So he's picking up from where he left off. I'm pretty sure he was pretty cheesed off that he didn't get pole position. But when it comes down to the points, he came away with them.
Yeah, that he did. He's now extended his run, of leading a DGT championship standings since the 2nd race of the first championship done in DGT.
I think somebody needs to do something. Mandalorian give him a good run for his money, but just close but no cigar. I think maybe there needs to be a bit more competition showing up to give Demon a good run for his money.
Well, maybe, but that's where I'll mention what the admins have done for this championship is it is only race 1, as I mentioned earlier, that has a qualifying session. From race 2 onwards, the grid will be formed in a reverse championship standings order, meaning at the next race, Demon R is going to be starting dead last with Mandalorian ahead of him, and from what I can tell, Rich Blues will be starting on pole position for the first time in his DGT career. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on up at the front. I mean, this is a new feature brought in by the admins, which could definitely spice things up a little bit, but to be fair, nobody knows exactly how it's going to go until we get to the race in Monza.
Yeah, indeed. So, I'm just looking at the results page, just thinking about it being a reverse grid and people who are semi-decent. SRIs would be sitting technically third place on the grid, and he's, I think if he managed to get a good run and pull away from the pack, if Mandalorian and Demon Eye and SGP are at the back fighting away and they get tangled up in a situation, that could be an extra pit stop in the bag for people like SRI.
Yeah.
Formula Gary, well improved. Maybe just needs to look after his brakes a little bit more when the tyres are going off. But apart from that, some decent racing. Steve F1, I think he's had a bit of an unfortunate race today. He started in 4th, finished 6th. Davey Harp had a decent one, finished in 5th. Jason, really, really surprising how well he did throughout that race. Came away with 4th, could have easily been 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly with Jason, he didn't do his usual thing of appearing out of nowhere late on, or what he'd done recently, which is appearing early and then fading away. He appeared early and stayed there, and I like that. I mean, you mentioned about Formula Gary massively improved. It's been doing a lot of practice in this car over the last few weeks, and it's shown. And it's not just about speed and pace, it's about awareness and when to overtake, when not overtaken. Okay, there's a couple of mistakes from him today, but majority of it was very, very good. Same with Fluffy Planet and Rich Blues. I know he's not had much chance to practice, and his missus did say to him before the race, she gave him a snacker jack and said, "You'll win now." And unfortunately for Rich, on the last lap he was sitting in 8th, and she asked him how he was doing. He said 8th. It put him off, and he ended up going off at turn 1 and ended last. Well, he's ended up first in one way or another, because potentially he's on pole for the next race. But
yeah, I think I've got to say, looking at this field, I think what's going to become a feature of this reverse grid from race 2 onwards, the guys that are good at coming through the field will find themselves in a way superior position. I think the people I worry for are people like Steve F1. Whenever he came out in the pack, he struggled to assert his dominance and come through with fresher tyres.
Yeah. And
I think people like Demon Art and Mandalorian, that's their strengths. It's getting through the pack while the tyres are at the freshest and not wasting that opportunity. So I think that'll become especially in the opening stint of a race, that'll become a massive feature.
Yeah, it definitely will. I mean, the thing is as well, I mean, for the likes of, Demon R, Mandalorian, even SGP, very good at coming through the pack. But at the same time, for the likes of Demon R at the next race, he's got to try and overtake Mandalorian and SGP. As well as everybody else, and they're not easy people to overtake. And on a track like Monza, where slipstream will be a factor, but also good tyre life, because Monza is not a tyre killer, really, it could make things very, very interesting. And it is the Monza with the chicane, so there's more overtaking opportunities there than in previous trips to the Monza circuit in different categories. So I am fascinated to see how it's going to play out. It could be absolute carnage, but you know what? If it is, for us in the commentary box, it'll be brilliant to watch. So yeah, let's wait and see how that pans out. But as for today's race, Demon R, takes the victory once again. Mandalorian very well to get second place, and having taken pole position with the help of a slipstream, he's showing that he's a force to be reckoned with potentially in this championship. And to be fair, when it comes to the likes of SGP, Steve F1, Dave the Harp and Mandalorian, if one of them isn't going to be winning a race, they need another one of them to win the race. So kind of like they, in a way, they kind of all need, well, I would say need, they all kind of could do with working together to make sure that Demon R doesn't win, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think, unfortunately, Mandalorian tried his best to make sure that didn't happen, and he still won. So I'd not say it were intentional or anything, but you know, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But it were, yeah. I think looking at the replays, I'm not too sure. I'm 50-50. I don't know if it were deliberate or if it were the curb on the inside.
Yeah, I think it was the curb, to be fair, just got him a little bit out of shape. Well, the thing is, though, in racing, sometimes incidents happen, accidents happen. A little bit like I mentioned with Gary there when he was 3 wide. I've done it before. You're one of the cars in the middle. You're so focused on those 2 cars next to you that you outbrake yourself by 1 meter, and that 1 meter is enough to put you into the back of a car that's ahead of you that you weren't even looking at, that you had no intention of getting anywhere near. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a very exciting race to watch. So I think it's time we, well, not only check out the final driver standings for that race, but also over the course of the next week, we'll obviously get the reaction of the drivers as to the car that will be used in the next championship as well. And one of the reasons that the DGT League admins have announced now which car it will be is because the car does cost 1 million credits. So they wanted to give the drivers plenty of time to try and earn enough money to purchase that car. Now there are a few ways that you can earn money within the game, and if the drivers need to know the fastest ways of earning money, I would recommend having a chat with your fellow drivers, because I'm sure they will let you know. Right, thank you very much, James, for joining me on commentary once again.
No worries, apologies for all the stuttering.
I just couldn't believe you did it. Anyway, right, let's check out the final driver standings for race 1 of 9 in the GR3EVO Cup. Confirmation then, Demon R does take the victory ahead of Mandalorian 17, and he scores 17 points, so quite fitting that. SGP 3rd place, Jason in 4th, Dave Harp 5th, Steve F1 in 6th, and of those drivers, 7th down that finished a lap. Well, it said a lap down, but to be fair, they were unlucky to not cross the line for that final lap. So it's Fluffy Planet in 7th, Formula Gary in 8th, Groover in 9th, Bunsel in 10th, SRI in 11th, Twilight in 12th, and Rich Blues, unfortunately, in 13th. A couple of drivers, as I mentioned, weren't able to make the race, but I have also been told that there is no stewards reports from this race, so that is absolutely great news, which means the championship standings is pretty much in exactly the same order as the race result. So what that means for race 2, because of the championship standings as they are, what it will mean for race 2 is that if Tyler or Schumacher do not attend, Rich Blues will be starting on pole position with Twilight next to him, and then SRI and Bunsel, Groover, Formula Gary, Fluffy Planet, Steve F1, Dave the Harp, Jason, SGP, Mandalorian and Demon R at the back. So a fantastic opportunity with the reverse grid set from, the grid set from a reverse championship standings. Maybe a little confusing to begin with, but it's definitely going to spice things up for Monza, which is at round 2. So make sure you come and check us out for that. And if you do want to get involved in a racing league on GT Sport, then check out the Dynamic GT League Facebook page. Drop them a message and they'll give them all the info that you will need. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, join us for round 2, and also let us know what you think about the car for the next championship. See you again soon.